Welcome. If you're a Turkish medical manufacturer looking to expand your horizons, then you've come to the right place. This explainer is your personal roadmap to breaking into one of Southeast Asia's most exciting economies, Malaysia. We're going to break down exactly what you need to know to make a real impact.
So let's just dive right in with a fact that is frankly stunning. It really puts Malaysia's role into perspective. We're not just talking about some regional player here. No, Malaysia is a global powerhouse, supplying a staggering 80% of the entire world's catheters. That one number tells you everything you need to know about their manufacturing muscle.
And that incredible production strength is matched by a seriously fast-growing opportunity at home. The domestic market, it's projected to hit $4.5 billion by 2028. So the key takeaway here is that Malaysia isn't just a place to make your devices, it's a thriving, expanding market where you can sell them.
Okay, so how do you get a piece of that action? Well, we've laid out this explainer as your step-by-step strategic guide. First, we'll dig into why Malaysia is such a medtech powerhouse. Then, we'll cover the all-important business culture, followed by the regulatory roadmap. After that, I'll show you a shortcut to the market, and we'll finish up with the final keys you need for a successful entry.
Right, let's get into it. It's really important to understand that Malaysia is so much more than just another country to export to. It's a strategic global hub for medical technology, and it's earned that title for some very specific reasons.
At its core, you've got this incredibly strong ecosystem. We're talking over 200 manufacturers, many of them absolute world-class players. And get this, a massive 90% of what they produce is for export. Now for you, that means the infrastructure, the supply chains, the skilled talent, it's all there, and it's already operating at a global standard.
And you don't have to just take my word for it. This confidence is backed by cold, hard cash. Even with everything going on in the world, over 1.1 billion ringgit in foreign investment poured into this sector in 2024 alone. You know what that tells me? It says international confidence is rock solid. The big players are voting with their wallets, and they are choosing Malaysia.
Now let's switch gears to a topic that can honestly make or break your entire venture, the local business culture. The direct, hard-charging approach that might work great in other places, it can easily backfire here. In Malaysia, success is built on a foundation of harmony and respect. And the single most vital concept you have to understand is face. It's all about a person's reputation, their dignity. If you cause someone to lose face by, say, contradicting them in a meeting or embarrassing them publicly, you've made a major mistake. Your number one goal should be to preserve face for them and for you in every single conversation. It's everything.
This chart just perfectly spells out the difference in practice. A direct, assertive style might come across as confidence in some cultures, but in Malaysia, a humble, respectful approach will get you so much farther. You've got to shift your focus from just hammering out a deal to building a real, long-term relationship.
And that brings us to a critical skill you need to develop, listening for what's not being said. A flat-out no is seen as way too confrontational. Instead, you're more likely to hear things like, well, think about it, or that could be difficult. Learning to read between the lines is the real key to understanding your position in any negotiation.
Okay, so we've covered the cultural side of things. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the formal process. And the good news here is that the regulatory system in Malaysia is actually very clear and structured. It's all handled by one single body, the Medical Device Authority, or the MDA. So, your first job on the regulatory side is to classify your device. It's a risk-based system, probably very similar to what you're used to in Europe. As you can see, Class A is your low-risk stuff. Think of things like examination gloves, and it doesn't even need a formal assessment. But for everything else, your classes B, C, and D, you'll need a conformity assessment. Getting this classification right is absolutely crucial because it dictates your entire path forward.
The whole process follows these 5 clear steps, but I want you to laser focus on that very first one. It is the most critical move for any foreign manufacturer. You must appoint a local authorized representative, what they call an AR. This is your legal entity on the ground in Malaysia, and without one, you literally can't even start the process.
All right, now for some really good news. For all you established Turkish manufacturers who are already exporting globally, Malaysia's system has a built-in fast track. It's a major shortcut that can get your products on the market way, way faster.
So what's the secret to this fast track? It's all about using the approvals you already have.
If your device has clearance from one of these major agencies, and I know for many of you in Turkey, that's going to be the CE mark from a European notified body, then you're eligible for an expedited registration. It's simple, really. The MDA recognizes and trusts the quality of these other regulatory bodies.
And here's where it gets really good. This fast track, which they call the verification pathway, can slash your time to market. I mean, look at the slide. Instead of a full assessment taking 6 to 9 months, you're looking at just 4 to 6. That is a huge competitive advantage.
Okay, let's move into our final section and tackle the now what question. So you've navigated the rules, you've got your approval. What are the critical last-minute decisions you need to make for a really smooth launch?
This brings us to what might be one of the biggest strategic decisions you'll make. Should you let your distributor also act as your authorized representative? I know it sounds convenient, but the answer to this question has massive long-term consequences for your control and your flexibility in the Malaysian market.
This table just makes the choice crystal clear. When your distributor is also your AR, they own your product registration. Think about that. If the relationship goes south, you lose your market access and have to start all over again. But if you appoint an independent AR, you own the registration. That gives you total control. You can add distributors, change distributors, whatever you want with zero regulatory headaches.
And one more quick regulatory point. This is a crucial heads up. The MDA is rolling out a new import permit system. Right now it's in a transition period, but it becomes mandatory for all device imports on January 2nd, 2026. You really need to plan for this now so you don't get stuck with shipping delays later.
Finally, let's talk about how you can get a real competitive edge. With over 60% of Malaysians being Muslim, getting halal certification for your devices can be a powerful move. Now, it's not mandatory for medical devices, but a certified product is often preferred. It can give you a real advantage, especially when dealing with both public and private hospitals.
So, let's tie this all together. Here's the big takeaway. Malaysia isn't just an attractive market on its own. It's more than that. With its incredible ecosystem, clear rules, and perfect location, it is the ideal business-friendly launchpad. So the real question we want to leave you with is not just how you'll enter Malaysia, but how you will use it as your strategic gateway to the entire 600 million-person ASEAN market.